To the Old Bailey now, where a wealthy businessman has just been sentenced to more than 8 years in prison for plotting to plant fake bombs in London's legal district. Our correspondent Milena Veselinovic is outside court. Milena, just take us back and remind us of what exactly happened in this case.
Well, at the heart of this case is a grudge against two lawyers who were acting on behalf of the National Crime Agency in a case against Jonathan Nuttall's wife, Amanda. Now, there was an order made against her assets at the value of more than £1.4 million because of some suspicions over money laundering and other offences. And when the Nuttalls offered to pay that money, that offer was rejected by the National Crime Agency because, again, there were doubts that that money was coming from illicit means. So that, at that point, put their home, their country mansion, under risk of seizure. And the prosecution, over the course of the trial, said that at that point, Jonathan Nuttall was angered and targeted his anger towards the lawyers acting for the National Crime Agency, really trying to prevent them from doing their work so that would in some way derail the case against him and against his wife. Now, the court heard over the course of this trial that he recruited his driver, Michael Sode, and then in turn recruited a former Royal Marine Michael Broddle to carry out a campaign of harassment and surveillance against the two lawyers, Andrew Sutcliffe and Jeavons. The court heard that Michael Broddle carried out reconnaissance of their home addresses, their professional addresses over a number of months. This all culminated with two fake bombs being planted in Gray's Inn, which is the heart of London's legal district, one of them very close to the offices of Andrew Sutcliffe, and that also had a note addressed to him containing a number of allegations against him. Now, the bombs, the fake bombs, they were not found to be viable, but the judge said it was an aggravating circumstance, that they were made to look as realistic and they were made to look incredibly threatening. Now, the court also heard in the course of this trial that Michael Broddle, the former Royal Marine, wrote a number of threatening notes to Mr. Sutcliffe, although it's unclear whether he actually sent them, but the contents of those notes was incredibly disturbing. In them, he threatened to rape Mr. Sutcliffe's daughter. He threatened to dig out Mr. Sutcliffe's infant son. And we've also heard from a victim impact statement today from Mr. Sutcliffe and from Anne Jeavons, the other lawyer involved in this case, how profoundly disturbing that was for them and their families to go through. So today, the judge jailed Mr. Nuttall to a total of 8 years and 2 months imprisonment, and with his co-conspirators, Mr. Sode and Mr. Broddle, receiving 6 years and 6 months imprisonment and 7 years imprisonment for their part in what was an attempt to try to derail proceedings by the National Crime Agency, proceedings that, as the judge said in his sentencing remarks, will continue.
Milena, thanks so much for giving us all the details there. Milena Veselinovic at the Old Bailey.